test mic. What's up guys, Learning with Rich here. In this video, after we learn how to set up our project, how to link, how to import our CAD file, how to link our Revit project. So the next thing that we are going to do is, we are now going to start our discussion about defining the volumes in Revit MEP. All right, so in Revit MEP, you define volumes using spaces and zones. All right, so in this lesson, you are going to learn about using both the zone and space information that we will be using for the heating and cooling loads analysis to determine the energy demands of the building. So for this topic, we're just going to discuss how to define our spaces. So on our next topic, we will be talking about the zone. All right, so in Revit, you use volumes in engineering data calculations, and volumes are defined using spaces. So spaces is very important when you do a heating and cooling load calculation. So the volume of a space defines an analytical building model, which you can use for building performance analysis and heating and cooling load calculations. All right, so spaces store values for the parameters that affect the heating and cooling load of a project. So spaces is kind of the counterpart of rooms in Revit architecture. So in Revit architecture, you have that room. So in Revit MEP, you have this space. Okay. So what is space? Spaces are components that are exclusively used in MEP disciplines to analyze volumes. Okay. So spaces contains information about their location, such as volumes, areas, names, and numbers. So in addition, space track lighting level calculations, electrical loads, and air flows. So you can use this information for performing volume calculations and heating and cooling loads analysis. All right, and aside from that, you can also export these values to various other analysis program. All right, so that is what we are going to do first. So let's define our space. All right, so to do that, let me just open the exercise file for that. Okay, so let's open up. Okay, so my laptop is really slow. All right, space. I'm gonna open this one. So this one is in 2010 version. The file. Okay, so in defining our space, we use the instance properties dialog box. Okay, if you still remember, the instance properties dialog box is the one that you will see on the properties when you select an object, okay, or an element. Or in our case, if you select a space, the property will show you the instance property of that space that you have selected. So you can access the information associated with the space from the instance properties dialog box. All right, so I'm going to show that to you later on. And aside from that, we're going to talk about also the plenum spaces. All right, so the plenum spaces are added where the space volume is constrained from a plenum level ceiling up to the next level. So you must place spaces in all plenum areas. Why? To perform an accurate heating and cooling loads analysis. All right? So that is what we are going to specify on later on. So we are going to place also plenum spaces. So when placing plenum spaces, we ensure that all plenum spaces are appropriately modeled by verifying that the ceilings are classified as room bounding on the architectural model. So we will be doing that in this exercise. It's just uh, it really takes a lot of time opening the exercise file. All right, so after we open the file, so this is now our Revit model. So as you can see, there is a link in this one. So we have a link model here. Okay, so what we are going to do now is we're going to define the spaces. Okay, so I'm not going to teach you how to link again. So if you want, you can just check out the previous videos that I have created in which I have discussed how to link our architectural model to our MEP project. All right. So in this exercise, we're going to create spaces, let's say, for example, to represent the volumes that are used in the building performance analysis. So we're not going to place all the places on on the all rooms in our building. So we're just going to place it, let's say, somewhere here. It will take a lot of time for us to do it. The process is still the same. Okay. Anyway, the first thing that we're going to do before you place the spaces is to specify the room bounding. Okay, so you need to specify the bounding elements of your uh, project. So like for example, this one, we have the link model from the architect. So an architect defines the bounding elements such as walls, floors, and ceilings to define the extent of the space volume in a building model. However, as an MEP user, we need to select our link model and then go to the properties and then select the type properties here and make sure you select the room bounding checkbox here. This one. So you need to define that. Okay? So you need to select the room bounding checkbox in our type properties dialog box of our link architectural model to ensure that the rooms are bounding. So if the rooms are not bounding, it will be impossible to place spaces. All right, and aside from that, bounding elements can be broken into multiple flat surfaces to replicate curved geometries or accommodate a surface that is adjacent to two rooms. All right, so now that we have checked the room boundings, so we are now good to go. So let's select OK here. So that is very important. So don't forget that you have a link model in your MEP project, and then you will be creating the spaces. So make sure you check the room bounding. All right, so before that, let me just save as this one. So let me go to my documents. I'll just save it here, okay? Same file name. All right. Okay, so after we save now this one, so we are now going to create spaces. And then the process is simple. So of course, we just need to activate the space tool, specify the settings, place the spaces, and then finish creating spaces. So that's the process of creating the spaces. Okay? So for you to be able to properly do that, uh, before you do that process, you also need to create some levels for plenum spaces. Okay, so like for example, if I'm going to open here the general building section on my project browser, if I open that one, you will notice that level 1 here to level 2 has no drop ceiling, right? There's no drop ceiling but an open plenum here. But notice that from levels 2 to level 3 have ceilings that separate the plenum space from the occupied room, which is this one. All right, so we need to properly create the level for our plenum space, like what I've said earlier. Okay, so plenum spaces are added where the space volume is constrained from a plenum level ceiling up to the next level. So we are going to create a plenum level ceiling here. So you must place spaces in all plenum areas to perform an accurate heating cooling loads analysis. All right, so we are going to do that. So let's create a level for that first. So for this one, so I'm going to select levels. So I'm going to select level here. And then I'm not going to create a plan view for the level that I'm going to create here. Why? Because later I'm going to show you how to create a plan view. Just in case you forgot to check make plan view. For example, you uncheck that one. So we are going to uncheck that. And then we are going to begin creating a level in our view. So I'm going to use this one. Or let's say I'll use the line tool. So that's the line tool. And so from here, probably I think it would be better to just use this one. So pick lines option. Okay. And then I'm going to specify here the offset distance of 1000. I already measured that earlier. So I want to offset this level below, just like that. So there's the preview. So I'm going to click. There you go. So I now have a level there. So I'm going to select here, modify. Okay. So that's now my level. So I'm going to change the name of that. So instead of level 5, I'm going to change that to level 2 plenum. Okay. So let's call that level 2 plenum. Enter. Okay. Let me just click this and adjust that here. There you go. So that's my level 2 plenum. Let's say I also want to create here. So same procedure. So I select the level, peak lines option. Let's specify the offset distance of 1000 and then just uncheck the make plan view. So I'll just pick here. There you go. Then modify. All right. So I'll just call this level 3 plenum. Level 3 plenum. Enter. Okay. And then let's just tidy up our drawing. There you go. Oops. Why is it like that? Okay. It's really difficult to align. Okay, there you go. So we now have our level 2 plenum and level 3 plenum. So that is how you do that. So what we're going to do, we are going to create now spaces on existing level. Okay, so we already have the existing level here, level 1. So I'm going to open my level 1 HVAC plan view. And then to create our space, let's go to analyze, and then there's the space here. So I'm going to select this, and then I'll just make sure that the tag on placement here is activated so that when I place the space, space tag will be placed automatically. And then I also want the offset here to be 0. Okay, so I'm gonna select that. I'm gonna change the offset distance to 0. Okay, and then for the upper limit, so I want from level 1 to level 2. Okay, so from level 1 to level 2, that's the reason why I just changed the offset to 0. Okay, because I already defined the height of my space from level 1 to level 2. Okay, so I do not want to have an excess space. All right, so we're now going to place it here. So I'm going to place here. Okay, so level 1 to level 2. All right, so let's pick here. Then let's pick here. Let's also pick here. Okay, so I want to place space here, space here. All right. So how about I'm just going to place again here. This one and then this one as well. All right, so I only want to concentrate in this portion. So I'm not going to place all the spaces all over the building. So I'm just going to select here, modify. Okay, so there you go. I just placed the space here. And like what I've said earlier, if you're going to select the space here, that's the space. So you will notice here the instance properties dialog box. So from there, you will be able to access the information associated with the space from here. Okay, so you can modify, let's say, for example, this properties here. You can specify the airflow. Okay, so these are the properties that you can get from the instance properties dialog box when you select your space there. Okay, so that is your instance properties for the space. All right, so the next thing that we are going to do is let us just properly name it. Okay, so to do that, let's go to the created space schedule here. So let me just open this. Okay, so as you can see, the room here The room here, the room name here is different from the space name here. This room name, we got this from the architectural model, from the architect. They are the one that specifies the room name. So we just need to follow that. Okay, so we just need to follow this room name so that it will be reflected the same to our space name. So we need to follow the architectural model. So if you have these add-ins, because I don't have the add-ins to change the name here automatically based on the room name here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change this manually. So let me just call this washing room, just like the room name, enter, and technology, enter, cleaning, enter, oops, sorry. All right, so washing room, archive, WC, and cleaning room. There you go. Okay. There is this add-ins that you can download from your Autodesk account, which is named uh, space naming convention, something like that. That's the add-in that you can download from the Autodesk account. So you can use that to automatically rename the space here based on the room. Okay. Now, so after renaming this, the next thing that I'm going to do is um, I'm going to open the level 1 HVAC plan again. Okay, so as you can see, it's now already automatically updated. Right. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is let us create a floor plan for our, before we do that, before we create the floor plan, let us go to the general building section here. And then I'm going to add a legend here. Okay, so to do that, I'll go to the annotate and then look for the color fill legend. Okay, so color fill legend. So I select that one and then I'm going to place it here. There you go. So the color fill legend that I'm going to do is space legend, space color fill legend. So I'm going to select spaces and then I'll just use the default color scheme here. So once I select here, okay, and there you go. So I now have this colors here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to adjust this for us to be able to see the rest of the model. Let's drag this one. Okay, so I want to see that. All right, there you go. Okay. Okay, and then let's change this. Adjust. You just need to tidy up your drawing. There you go. There you go. Let's drag this all the way here so that it's not overlapping. There you go. All right, so these are now the spaces that we have placed so far. Now, the next thing that we are going to do, we are going to create our spaces from level 2 to level 2 plenum. We are not going to jump from level 2 to level 3. Why? Because we also need to consider the level 2 plenum. So we are going to create from level 2 to level 2 plenum. We're going to create the space. And then we are also going to create a space from level 2 plenum to level 3. All right, so the problem is we don't have the floor plan for level 2 plenum. Okay, so we don't have the floor plan for level 2 plenum. So that is what we are going to do next. So to create this floor plan for level 2 plenum, I'm going to select view and then select plan view and then select floor plan and then select level 2 plenum. That's all. Okay, I'm not going to create level 3 plenum or 4. I'm just going to create until level 3 because the process is just the same. So you can just follow the same procedure if you want to place space from 3 to level 3 plenum. and from level 3 plenum to level 4. Okay, so I'm just going to create a floor plan for level 2 plenum. I'll just select OK, and there you have it. So we just need to rename this level 2 HVAC plan plenum. Okay, enter. There you go. So this is now our level 2 plan plenum. Okay, so let us now go back to our level 2 HVAC plan. This is where we are going to create our space from level 2 HVAC plan to level 2 HVAC plan plenum. Okay, so again, the procedure is you go to analyze, you select the space, and then since we are already on level 2 HVAC plan, the upper limit that I'm going to select here is until level 2 HVAC plan plenum. And then for the offset, I'll just make it 0. Enter. Okay? All right. So again, we're just going to place it somewhere here. So I pick here 1, pick here 2, pick, pick, and then after that, we're going to rename it. So I pick here, I pick here also. So maybe I'll just place another space here. There you go. Okay. And then let's go back again to our space schedule and then rename it. So this will gonna be what? Doctor. So doctor. The next is secretary. Next is leader. Meeting room. So we need to follow the architect's specification. This will gonna be archive, WCH, WCD, and WC. There you go. So we just define our level 2 spaces. So going back to our general building section, so this is now how it looks like. So there you have it. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, now we also need to create from level 2 HVAC plan up to level 3 space here. So we also need to consider that plenum space. Okay, so that's the reason why we are going to open our level 2 HVAC plan. And then after that, let's go to the space, change the upper limit to level 3, and then again, the offset is 0. Okay, all right, so you will notice the room here is not being detected by our space because the view range. So we need to modify here the view range of our level 2 plenum. So what we are going to do is we are going to change the view range of our level 2 HVAC plenum. So I'm gonna go ahead and select the properties, and then you will see here the view range. Okay, so in our view range, so there's the edit view range. So you can modify here the cut plane. So as you can see, the cut plane here is 1,200. So what we are going to do, we are going to lower it down so that we can see here the cut or the boundaries for our placing for the spaces. Okay, so we need to adjust the cut plane so that we can see there the partition, the walls. Okay, so instead of 1,200, I'm going to make it 500. So I'm going to do that. So once I select here apply, so notice that it's now showing here the partition walls. So I can now see from level 2 HVAC plan plenum the partition after I adjust the cut plane. Okay, so this is where the horizontal plane cuts your view. Okay, so that you can see those elements. Okay, so we are now ready to place our space. So let's select the space up to level 3, and then the offset is 0. All right, so let's do this. I'm just going to place one here, 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 here. Okay, so for this one, you do not need to rename the space here because we just want this to be the plenum, right? So we just want that to be the plenum. So I'm just going to pick here and then I'll just select here modify. Okay. So now if I check here my general building section, and there you go. Okay. So what I'm gonna do instead of space, let me edit this scheme. This one is part of your let me just adjust this one. Monday. Okay. So this one you can also edit. So let's say you want to change the color or you want to adjust your color fill legend. So all you have to do is to click that and then you go to edit scheme. There you go. And then from there you can change here the color, right? So you can change now there the color of your model. Okay. All right. So again, it's up to you if you want to change the color. Now I'm just going to select here OK. Okay, so there you go. So as you can see, you now have here your plenum space. So you now consider the plenum space here. So that's how you place your space in your Revit MEP project. This is very important because this is the basis when you are going to create your zone, which is a collection of spaces. All right, so that is the next topic that we are going to discuss, creating zone. So for now, this is how you create your space in your Revit MEP project. All right, so if you like this video, don't forget to hit that like button and please share this to your friends. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can put it on the comment section below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you for watching, guys. Have a nice day.